welcome back to Near Dark Podcast, episode 73. Today we're gonna talk about Event Horizon with your host, Angel, and the crew, Zombie, Ogge, Joseph, and special guest, Gray.
Hello.
Uh, how's everyone? Yeah. How are everyone doing?
I think I'm doing alright.
A bit tired. But yeah, I'm doing good.
I woke up like 20 minutes ago, so I haven't really.
You're not here.
Not mentally at
So-
very
so-
least.
Yeah. What about you, Ogge?
Fine. Bit tired.
Alright,
Since
alright.
I've been working all day.
Same.
Yeah.
Been up since 4:30.
Woohoo!
Yay.
Oh man. So anyone got any recently seen?
A lot of things I've recently seen has been with you as of recently, Angel.
Yeah.
So I don't have any special editions personally.
Anyone else?
I've been watching a ton of stuff, but it's mostly movies we talked about it recently seen before. I watched the what the fuck is it called? 10 to Midnight from, I think it's 1983. It's a Canon Group production, starring Charles Bronson, who's probably best known for the Death Wish movies. He plays a cop that he gets a case in which a murderer goes around killing young women, and you get to follow the killer as well from his point of view, as well as Charles Bronson's point of view, and the killer basically just undresses and goes around naked when he murders people, which is kind of funny.
Nice.
And yeah, I think it was a really good movie actually. It was more of a thriller than a horror movie, but then you also got to the whole vigilante-esque angle to it, since it's Charles Bronson.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot better than what I was expecting it to be. Has anyone else seen it?
Never even heard about
No.
Same here.
But nothing says quality movie like a nudist serial killer.
it. Yes.
Right?
That's some pure quality right there.
Has any of you seen the Death Wish films?
No, not
I've heard
necessarily.
the title, but
Yeah.
never watched it.
Who said yeah?
I've seen
Oggy.
Oh, have you seen all 5 of them?
it. No, I think I've just seen the first one.
Ah, okay. You should really check out the rest of them, especially part 3.
Okay.
Part 3 is so fucking absurd that it's laughable almost, but it's awesome.
Wait, let's pause for a minute. Alright, let's move on.
Yeah.
Anyone else got any recent scenes?
I got one more. At the same night I was watching 10 to Midnight, I also watched a slasher movie. I can't remember which year it was released, but I suspect it was filmed in like 1980, late 1980, early 1981. But it must have been released like 82 or 83. It's called The Forest. Uh, it's one of the oddest slasher movies I've ever seen. I think it's about two couples that goes out into the woods to hike, and they encounter a crazed killer slash cannibal with a really weird backstory. His motive to his murders is that his wife was unfaithful to him, so he killed her and her lover, and he took his kids out into the woods, who later on got ill and committed suicide. So now the forest is haunted by his ex-wife and his children, who help the children helps the main characters. It's really bizarre. And the there's a lot of filler in it, and I thought it was okay, but I don't think I'll have any great hurry to rewatch it. Really, has anyone else seen it?
Nope.
No, I haven't seen it.
I've heard the title but never watched it.
There's a newer movie like 2017 or something called The Forest, but it's about the suicide forest in Japan. I think.
Yeah, so anyone else?
Yeah, well, I've got a third one as well, but I know you and Sobi also saw it, so I'll wait on you.
Yeah. So me and Gray watched Penance Lane. So this one came out last year. It feels like a low budget Willy's Wonderland. So it's like I'm gonna read up the synopsis because it's hard to explain. A hardened criminal fresh out of jail takes a job as a handyman in a dilapidated house, but the twisted horrors he finds inside are enough to send anyone running. So why does he stay, and why are so many people drawn to Penn's Lane? I would say like this. I didn't really like Willy's Wonderland that much, but I would rather go back and watch that than rewatch this. It wasn't good. It's a pain to watch. It shows that it's low budget. I don't recommend anyone watching it. I don't know, Gray. What did you think?
What's
So-
the title of it?
Penance Lane.
Yeah.
Come again?
Penance Lane.
Penance Lane.
Yeah, from last year.
Never heard of it. Okay.
Yeah, it's a really low budget. I'm pretty sure it's like a direct to VHS kind of movie.
Oh, it very much is. The only thing that I appreciated out of it was that the characters were given a little more development, especially the leading cast, compared to Willy's Wonderland. But that's about all it's got going for it. A lot of the things that happen in the movie don't really make sense, and even less about it tracks afterwards.
Yeah. Besides that, I can't really remember if I've watched anything else than
We've been watching Her.
Huh?
We've been watching Her.
Her?
That one Netflix series?
No, that's you.
There we go. Yes, that one.
Yeah, because you got a third season 15th of October.
Neat.
Yeah, speaking of which, their new Chucky TV series has been released. They've aired 2 episodes. And they released 5 episodes of the new I Know What You Did Last Summer TV series as well. And I think they aired 2 episodes of the Day of the Dead TV series, which premiered on the 15th of October. So there's a lot to watch right now.
Yeah. Besides that, I dragged and dragged. I told Zombie like, hey, we're gonna go watch this movie, and he's like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So we went and watched Halloween Kills. Not gonna spoil the movie because it's still fresh and not everyone has had a chance to watch it yet. My opinion, it was good, enjoyable watch. Yeah. Zombie, what's your thoughts?
Well, I have mixed feelings. Like, it wasn't bad, but at the same time, I don't really know what I expected, but it was okay, but it was nothing like groundbreaking.
Yeah. Joseph, what's
I'm a bit split on this one actually. I think the film had some really good set pieces throughout it, and overall I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like with the 2018 sequel, which I straight up loved first time I saw it at the cinema.
yeah.
I think I need a rewatch of this film to
Yeah, it's like a movie you need to watch 2-3 times to take in everything.
yeah, well, there was, oh Jesus Christ, there was so many subplots going on
Yeah.
at the same time, so I kind of lost track of most of them.
I like
one thing that I really loved though was, and this isn't really a spoiler because it's right off at the beginning of the film. The flashbacks to 1978, I really loved those scenes, and especially one detail they made really good in it. I think you guys know what I mean.
Yeah, we can come back to talk about this movie in like 2-3 episodes when a lot of people have had a chance to watch it.
Yeah.
So we're not spoiling a fresh movie that's legit going on at cinema still.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a bit split about it. I enjoyed it, but I might have to rewatch it 1 or 2 times to have to get a real opinion on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know Gray hasn't watched it. Ogge, has you had the chance to watch it?
No, I haven't seen it.
Alright, you're checking?
Yeah.
So curious. I've seen a lot about a Netflix show going around. A lot of people have been talking about it.
Squid Game.
Yeah, Squid Game. A lot of people are hyping it so much, and I'm like, because of this hype, I'm just like, I'm not gonna watch it immediately, because I'm probably gonna be disappointed. Has anyone else watched it yet?
Yeah, I watched a few episodes of it, and I think it's good. But I want to watch the whole thing before I make any like judgment if it's the best shit ever.
Alright.
But so far, it's actually pretty good, I think.
I've heard really good things about it. I haven't gotten around to watch it yet, though.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm kind of stuck in watching Criminal Minds. It's 15 seasons. I'm on late season 7, early season 8, I believe. So it's gonna be a while before I'm watching anything else. But yeah, checking if anyone has watched it.
Yeah.
I know Ogge is usually the first one to watch Netflix shows.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. I think that's about it, right?
Think
I
so.
haven't been on a recording in ages, so. Alright. Alright, so let's jump to this synopsis then.
We got the trailer as well.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the trailer. Let's roll.
At 0300 this morning, TDRS picked up an automated navigation beacon broadcasting at 2-minute intervals in Neptune orbit.
This is incredible. It's the Event Horizon. She's come back.
The Event Horizon was the culmination of a secret government project to create a spacecraft capable of faster-than-light flight. The ship doesn't really go faster than light. What it does is it creates a dimensional gateway that allows it to jump instantaneously from one point of the universe to another light years away.
Where's she been for the last 7 years, Doctor?
That's what we're here to find out.
After 7 years in deep space,
There were 18 people on board this ship when it disappeared. I want them all accounted for. Opening outer door.
it came back abandoned.
Any crew? Negative. This place is a tomb.
But it didn't come back alone.
Captain Miller! I've got some problems here!
This ship has been beyond the boundaries of our universe. Who knows where it's been? And what it's brought back with it.
Did you hear that? What is it? The ship is reacting to us and the reactions are getting stronger.
What are you telling me? That this ship is alive?
I have such wonderful things to show you.
Oh my God!
It knows my secrets. It knows my fears.
Vacate. I want off this ship.
You can't leave. She won't let you.
God help us.
In the year 2047, a group of astronauts are sent to investigate and salvage the long-lost starship Event Horizon. The ship disappeared mysteriously 7 years before on its maiden voyage, and with its return comes even more mysteries as the crew of the Lewis and Clark discover that the real truth behind its disappearance and something even more terrifying. So I actually want to hear Augie's opinion of this movie first.
This is my second time watching it. The first one being quite a while ago, so I didn't remember much of it. But this movie is right up my alley. I love it. It looks awesome, I think. I like the characters, even though they're not anything special. But the characters don't really stand out, but they're good, you know.
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean.
Yeah, I really like the effects, the soundtrack. Yeah, it's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
I'm a bit biased since I love like anything dark sci-fi.
Yeah.
So
Honestly, like when I watched it, I was like, yeah, Augie's definitely gonna like it since you liked Alien and Aliens.
Yeah.
Like I was like, yeah, Augie's definitely gonna like this one.
yeah.
So yeah, all right. Zombie, what about you?
I actually like this one as well. I
Nice.
was a bit distracted by two characters, because I recognized them from other things. That put me out of the loop, like, at first, but I pretty much think a bit about the same as Ogge. Like, the characters, they're nice. Like, not nice people necessarily, all of them, but yeah, they're there for a reason, and they fulfill that reason plot-wise and all of that.
Yeah, there's like no empty casks just walking around to fill space.
Yeah.
Everyone has a purpose.
Yeah, and it's a movie that doesn't necessarily need that either, which is perfect, considering the isolation they're facing. And the effects were nice, and I don't know if it was or wasn't. I have like shit memory, but
You
gory.
and me both.
And that's just mwah. And it wasn't unnecessarily that for like shock value. It had a reason for being as gory as it was in its points. And it wasn't like 24/7 in your face, and like the music was nice, like the intro was
The
fire,
atmosphere.
like
Yeah.
a bit long intro for me, but
Agreed. Definitely agreed. It was like they could have crammed some of the names together a little bit more and made the intro a little bit faster, because I actually skipped through the whole intro because like I want to watch the movie.
Yeah, it's just that
agree.
good.
yeah.
Uh,
But the music was nice, so like it to a point it is forgivable when you have that fire of like an intro that you can just
Yeah, like it weighs up a little bit. Like the intro music is like, yes, I can vibe to this, even though the intro is like, why is nothing happening?
It wants you to appreciate the music as well as the actors that are in the movie before taking part in the movie itself, it seems.
Yeah.
They were like, this shit was expensive to make, so you better listen to it. You're not watching a movie until you hear it.
I mean, you're not wrong. That is the justification that I figured that they went with.
So what's your rating of it?
My rating will be a 9 out of 10.
Nice. So we're flying high right now.
Yeah.
All right.
8.5 or 9. I'm in that range.
So, yeah. So Joseph, what about you?
I might be the nadir of this episode.
All right. So
shit.
we lost contact with Joseph. It's all right. Like yeah. Yeah.
Majority is
sorry,
here.
We'll get his footage at post editing. Don't worry about it.
Well,
anyways.
This was a rewatch for me as well.
Alright.
I don't remember if I saw it before 2010, because I wrote a review of the film in 2010, so I know for a fact that I saw it then. But I also know that I held the VHS box of the film in my hands because the since long gone retail movie rental store had it.
Yeah.
But I might have seen it on cable in my teenage years. Well, I can't remember. But it was a rewatch for me as well.
Yeah.
And according to my review, I loved it back in 2010. I thought it was really a really great film. Even though it had some flaws to it.
Yeah.
Now, during my rewatch of it, I can see why I liked it, but I don't know if the older I get, the less interested in sci-fi I get. For some reason.
I mean, it's understandable. Like when you're young, sci-fi is this like incredible, like wow, like that can be the future. And now we're in 2020, and like
Not much is happening.
people thought, yeah, like people thought that back in 2015 we would have flying cars.
Or at least a base
Now
on
the
the
gas,
moon.
like the gas prices are up the roof. So it's just like, oh yeah, flying cars, sure.
Not really. More like horse and wagon.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Plus,
Yeah, I
we got
mean,
to
taste also changes with like age, and we all grow. Every day we grow a little bit more, so taste change day to day. The older we get, whatever, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing weird.
Yeah, but the thing is that I do love some sci-fi movies. That if it's just pure sci-fi, I can't stand it. I just go into snooze mode. But if it's sci-fi horror or sci-fi action, the chance that I would like the film gets upped considerably. For example, I love the Alien franchise and Predator, Seminoid, and so on.
I mean,
so on.
I'm gonna say like this: if you don't like Alien, you're stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you just don't like sci-fi in general. Like the whole entire idea turns you off to it, you know? Like, that's one of the only justifications that I have into not liking Alien for what it is, you know?
Well, Alien is sort of, and we've discussed this before on the podcast. Alien is more or less a slasher movie in space with an alien creature instead of a masked maniac.
Yeah, because with a mass maniac, you could make guesses as to what they could do, but this is something, as the title lives up to, something completely alien, unknown.
Yeah.
Even.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit of the same, that I don't necessarily like sci-fi movies standalone, but if you take a concept and just put it in space and make it sci-fi that way, it's more enjoyable to watch.
Well, there are exceptions on that rule, like Critters 4, Hellraiser 4,
Yeah.
Leprechaun 4.
It's like the fourth movie in almost every series. It's like, let's put it in space.
Yeah,
You lost me there, fam.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind Hellraiser 4, though, even though it's a pretty bad movie. I don't mind it. Leprechaun 4 and Critters 4, though. Yeah. But yeah, back on track. My thoughts about Event Horizon. I think it's overall okay, but I also think it feels rushed. There's really no character development. A lot of the stuff that happens in the film just happens without any real build up to them. It's just bang, 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 bang. There's a reason for it, and I will get back to that in the background section. But the ending is a bit of a head scratcher. It felt like 5 or 10 minutes were missing at the end.
Yeah.
As well as the outer track of the film, it just felt very out of place. The Prodigy track, funky shit.
Yeah. With such a fire intro, the outro was very meh.
Yeah, you were expecting this fire outro too, and it's like, No.
I don't mind the choice of music as an outer track, but it just felt very out of place since the Prodigy is party music, jumping around.
Yeah.
While while the movie were
I mean,
dead serious in its tone.
I mean, it's understandable as intro music, but after everything that happened, you would think that they would put more somber music to complement the mood, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like Ogge said, like, their whole budget went to the intro. That's all, like...
I know that a big portion of the budget went to the introduction of the film, actually.
Oh, damn. And here we all are just joking about it. It's like, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, not that in the least.
The outro felt very much like, well, these guys went to hell. Let's party.
Right?
Felt more like, let's just put a good song in there. Fuck it.
Yeah, it felt like that, and the effects looks, of course, very dated since it's late 90s CGI. So
it's 97.
yeah,
It's me.
Yeah, exactly. It's just as old as this little fucker.
I liked most of the cast, and I was actually a bit surprised that more than one, and actually not the one I thought would did survive the film. So that was pretty good.
It was a nice subversion.
Yeah, exactly. Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne is both of those guys are always great. Both of them did great performances here.
Indeed.
As they usually do. But I personally think that Fishburne, even though I love him as an actor, I think he's great in everything he's in. I think he works better as an quote-unquote important side character actor than a leading man. I don't know if it was because of everything feeling so rushed, but I thought that his character felt a bit forced at times. I don't think it was because of his performance. I think it was because of the script.
Yeah.
But I always thought about him as more of an side character actor. And this was before the Matrix as well. Before he really...
Oh yeah, so you're talking about Morpheus. Alright, then I'm...
yeah, the leading guy. That's Lawrence.
Yeah, then I'm... Yeah, okay, then I'm up to date with what you're talking about,
He is a very strong, like, side character, because, like, the thing is, in his acting...
Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus in The Matrix is necessary for the story to progress. Yeah. That's what I mean. He's better as those type of characters. He's also in, for example, The Predators. He's an important side character in that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically like he's a strong side character, but he doesn't steal the focus away from the main actor, the main storyline, or nothing like that. He's
he's the main man in this film, but I think he's better when he got a side character to do in the film. But that's just my personal opinion. I don't know what you guys think about it, but
I know him from the Hannibal series, which he is I think you could classify him as a side character there as well, but I think the thing is why he's like a strong like side character is because like he has a very big presence in what he acts as without stealing the without stealing all of the attention, and it makes you like think he's an important like side character.
What are your thoughts about it, Gray and Ogge?
Oh, I'm gonna go first.
Yeah, it might. Now that you mention it, I mostly remember him from like side character parts. I'm struggling to think of a movie where, except for this one, where it wasn't a side character.
I know he had a pretty big role in the Assault on Precinct 13 remake. He plays the bad guy who they're trying to kill in that film.
Yeah.
So he's sort of a leading man, but not really. He's the MacGuffin in the film, basically.
Yeah.
I don't think Event Horizon is a bad movie, but I think it's has its fair share of problems, and I liked it, but I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I've been struggling with the rating.
I mean, we can all agree that Joseph is wrong because this is a masterpiece alongside of Alien. Am I right, Doggy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See?
I mean,
I simply think that
No,
no
here's the
movie is
thing,
without
here's
its
the thing.
flaws.
No, here's the thing. It's not a masterpiece because we all know it could have been better. It's just really good.
it's not. Yeah, it's not. Now that you mentioned, it's not better than Alien. Or
No,
Aliens.
definitely.
It's not up there, but it's really good.
Yeah.
So,
It's kind of at the same dinner party, but it's at a different table.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
well,
the Thing and another movie at one table.
Inseminoid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about the rating too. I thought I was gonna give it a 6 out of 10, but then I changed it to 7, so I'm a bit unsure. So I'll give it 6.5 out of 10.
That's fair.
Still not terrible.
So I
Alright.
don't think it's terrible, but
Yeah.
I think it got.
It's not a favorite.
Yeah, it got
Gotcha.
its flaws.
Yeah. So Gray, what's your thoughts about the movie?
So I really like the effects. They were definitely of its time, but they were really good for what they were, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And as for the build-up, for me, whenever I was watching it, it didn't go bang, 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 bang. Only in the parts whenever things started to go south, because I figured that thematically, it just meant the ship was getting more unstable due to the energies that was within it, from a narrative standpoint. So I would like to say that the build-up is a slow burn at first, because it hints at a lot of things, and it gives you the exposition directly, like why they're there, what's happening, and what's been going on. And the movie slowly reveals itself as it goes along. Like, you don't immediately understand that there's an otherworldly force controlling it. At first glance, one would think that it would be like a monster creeping on the ship because of all the bad stuff that's been happening, all the bad things that you see.
Yeah, like an unknown entity.
Yeah. Which still tracks for the end of the film, but it's not something that is tangible in a sense.
Yeah.
And as for the characters, they really are developed, and that's why I really think so. Even though they don't go through that much development over the course of the movie, they all have their unique and distinct personalities, and the actors that played them really well. I like Lawrence Fishburne as the lead actor in this movie, though I understand why that might not be so, considering his previous repertoire as secondary actor in a lot of other movies.
Well,
But really
this,
like him here.
this was before he started to become the side character actor that
Really?
is pretty much most known for.
Ah, did not know that.
The Matrix was made in 1999, and this was made in 1997.
Thank you for letting me know. I did not know that. But I really did enjoy his performance as a lead character, because his personality, his voice, it just fit that role, especially how he executed it. And it made sense as to how it would go in a narrative standpoint as well. Like, I keep going back to the narrative, but that's really what's holding the movie together. Although it's not that strong, it's certainly not as concrete as Alien, but it definitely holds up in many respects, and the movie works with that. Like, you know how most other movies are like, oh, they have amazing actors and set pieces and a lot of budget to do all these other things, but the writing is shit? I'd say that this is somewhat an inverse of that. Like, everything else seems like it's not that great when put separately, but it's made even stronger with the story of the movie, how it progresses forward and how it has an effect on the characters, whether it be visible or internal, whether it be influenced by the entity or just them straight going mad out of what's going on. So another thing that I'd like to appreciate at the beginning is the great reveal of the event horizon. Like, at first it is all obscured, and it really lives up to its own title as the dreaded ship, because whenever you see it for the first time, after the introduction of the movie, it really gives that feeling of not many people will be walking out of here just because of what kind of energy it emanates alone. Like, it's a derelict, but whenever you go inside and see all the things that's happened in there, you would understand that it's a very dangerous thing. Most of the time, derelicts aren't such because they're usually abandoned. But seeing as how there's still things roamed around in the otherworldly plane, it definitely makes up for itself as the ship itself being the main antagonist.
Yeah.
And another thing that I'd like to appreciate is that they didn't make dumb mistakes. Everything was moreover a victim of circumstance than anything. Like, the characters did try their best to hold on to whatever they had, but whenever a person is in distress or they have past traumas clinging onto them, that can easily overpower a person. So I would say that it isn't completely unreasonable that they made all the decisions that they did, though there are some times where it's like, you gotta get a grip on yourself. But narratively speaking, yes, a lot of the things that they did make sense. They couldn't stay on their own ship, they had to explore every nook and cranny even though they didn't want to, and they had to split off more often than they wanted to because there were a lot of things to take care of. And the story itself also worked for that. And all in all, I would think it's thematically pleasing in that the theme around it shows, I would think that the theme around the movie stems about how fragile the human mind can be at times, how easily influenced it can be to do some very bad things, even though it wouldn't be logical. And that's exactly what the entity on this movie feeds upon, the panicky, fragile nature of a human mind that cannot sustain the knowledge of everything that is out there at once. It comes at a head whenever it feels like it's possessing them at times, which really cements the point that the ship itself is the main antagonist. Because a lot of the times they realize that they wouldn't make these decisions on their own. It was the ship that gave them that little push that they needed to go over the edge. I would say that the twists are also reasonable because you do see them coming and they are repeatedly hinted at, but nothing is outright said or stated. Like, the characters in the movie didn't really want to believe what was happening because they live in an age of science, and to think that any of this is happening beyond any reasonable doubt is nonsense. They don't live in an age where spirits and possessions are the norm. But that's exactly what's happening before them. And it ties really well into it. Because it's just generally not something that you would see every day, not something that you would inherently believe in. Which makes the doubts of the movie throughout more and more believable the more times you look at it. Because yes, you could believe it if you were like a trope-savvy person, but seeing as how these were all scientists and shipwrights, they likely wouldn't have just made assumptions based on what they saw on TV. Like, this is not that kind of scenario to be falling into. And my final talking point, I would like to think that the resolution was at least a little bit satisfying, in that it told what it needed to tell in the short span of time that it occurred. Like, the event won't ever leave the people that ever survived because it was just that intense. It may have a light hold on them, but they won't completely succumb to it with the proper assistance. And along that same vein, they can never be the same after witnessing everything that had happened, and having to explain all of that would just be a nightmare for anyone.
Yeah.
The sound design was really good. I jumped a couple of times, and reasonably so, because, and this is my second time watching it as well. But I would have to say that I really enjoyed this movie for what it was. I haven't seen that many horror movies as well, compared to y'all. But I could definitely say that this ranks really high on my list, and definitely a recommendation to anyone who would watch it. I originally would give this a 9 out of 10, but seeing as how it could be better from the things that you told me, I definitely can put it at an 8 out of 10. Mostly because this is already really good, and the fact that it could be even better just astonishes me. And that's all I have to say about it.
Man, you can hold this whole podcast by yourself, the way you speak about movies.
I don't watch that many movies, to be honest.
You're totally entrancing.
I mean, I read books. I read a whole lot, and I have an English minor, but that's because I can talk in very flowery language. Other than that, I need to know what I'm talking about first. And Event Horizon is something that I like talking about because there were a couple of times in which you could definitely tell that the effects were of its time, and that's what made it a little more enjoyable. Because you know that it's really good, even though you know that it's fake. It stops your suspension of disbelief just enough to allow that for a pass.
Oh yeah. I think
I wasn't complaining about the effects. I was just pointing it out that it's very, very 90s.
No, I mean, I can understand that, because while I was watching it with Angel, I definitely pointed out that at some point, whenever the character Cooper was blown back off of the ship, he was pulled by a wire, which you could see as a very black, thick wire across the red that was the fire. And yeah, I saw that. And even though I saw that, and even though I pointed it out, it didn't stop me from enjoying the scene altogether.
Yeah.
I think the one quarrel I have with the plot is the amount of people that they sent on this mission in the first place. Because you have this research vessel with a black hole essentially traveling who knows where. They don't know, which is why they go there in the first place. It disappears, it comes back, and all you get from it is this hellish sound. And they decide to send the guy who made the ship and then a help crew.
A crew that was supposed to be on leave, might I add.
Yeah, and it feels like, bring more people, this is so like, I know it's supposed to be a top secret thing, but at the same time, bring more, like, security with you.
I mean,
This is not a good setup. More researchers. Like, why?
Well, it's basically the same premise as in Alien. They send a crew that can be expendable.
But at the same time, they sent military people at the very least.
these are also military people. It's just that they were specialized in space avionics, and they weren't fighting.
Yeah. But at the very same, it felt like they were very, in a way, unprepared for the task at hand. Which is every scenario ever, most of the time when they go into sci-fi horror territory.
I mean, the only defense they'll have for that is they probably haven't even developed a space marine program yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was before Aliens.
Like way before, like 2040 something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that they
2047.
I know it is for plot reasons that they hadn't decrypted the Latin sound in the clip, but I feel like that would have been a priority considering the importance of the ship, that you got this random sound. What does it say? What does it mean?
But then again,
no.
that would be telling more people than necessary of what's going on over there.
Yeah. And who speaks Latin at that point, to be honest?
Surprisingly, only the medic.
Yeah. But yeah, I can, like, ignore those plot ones entirely, but it felt like...
That right there.
Yeah.
That right there, I understand. So, overall thoughts?
Any favorite characters?
Cooper.
Alright,
Yeah,
thanks,
same,
guys.
same.
Angel hasn't given her
Yeah,
cheese
thanks.
I'm sorry.
Assholes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks. Jeez.
I'm sorry.
We're hijacking this episode.
Yeah, I noticed. Thanks.
We are now pirates.
Yes. Y'all are part of the Event Horizon. Clearly, it took over.
So what are your thoughts?
I think it's a great movie. I enjoyed it. It's up there with Alien. This is a second time watch. I believe I found it through. So I usually roam around YouTube on movie review YouTubers, and I think I found them through that. Found the movie through that, and I just thought like, oh, this movie sounds super interesting. I want to watch it. So I took Ray and I was like, okay, we're gonna watch this movie, and it's like, okay, let's watch the movie, and I was like, this is great. And when my turn came to pick a movie, I was like, Event Horizon. Because I'm a sucker for sci-fi. Like, sci-fi horror or sci-fi in general. Like, I like Star Trek and stuff like that. So this was like, okay, yeah, it's gonna be a great movie. I enjoyed it. I keep mixing up Morpheus with Candyman.
Candyman is played by Tony Todd.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, when I saw Morpheus, I was like, that's Candyman. And Gray was like, no, that's Morpheus.
There is a slasher connection to Lawrence Fishburne, though. He plays Max in A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Dream Warriors.
But yeah, so overall, I like the movie. It's good. It's a solid 9 out of 10. I'm also a sucker for the like prior to 2000s sci-fi movies because of both the video quality and oh, what's it called? Like the setting, oh, what's it called?
Environment.
Yeah, the environment and the things like Ray said with that you can see the wire, like stuff like that. I like the special effects. That's what it's called. I like old special effects. Like it's you can see like okay, he's not out in space floating about. Ooh, because you see the wire. It's like I like things like that. It has a certain charm in my opinion.
I don't mind goofs like that either. To be honest, it makes it more fun.
Yeah.
It also feels very like more thought out because they had to do much more than just today. That's mostly just CGI or just they just throw it on the CGI team and overwhelm them, which makes it like meh at some points and amazing at others. And it comes with a certain amount of care that you have to put into each and every effect to make them as good as they possibly can.
Definitely. But yeah, like overall, I think it's a good movie. I do agree that Morpheus is not the strongest, like, lead character. He probably would have made a better secondary character and then make, I would have liked to see one of the female characters. I can't really pinpoint the name. It is not the one with a crippled child, it's the other one.
The blonde chick.
Yeah, like,
I
make
think
one
she's
of...
British.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
I can't remember her name, but I know which one you mean.
Yeah, like they could have made her the main character and then make Morpheus the secondary character. That's just like the strong side character, but
Stark maybe.
Yeah, like overall, I thought it was good. And like Ray said, it is the ship doing everything because I mean they're like the ship is built around the black hole. We do not not today and not in 40 years. We're not gonna have the knowledge of what is a black hole, what is creating it, can we use it? Like, no.
We most have ideas of all of those things, and
yeah, it's yeah.
So, I would say that the black hole is not the source of all the discourse, but rather the negative energies that traveled through the black hole. The one that managed to latch itself to Justin whenever he went in there.
Yeah, and who the fuck is stupid enough to put their arm through a magic fucking black hole hood?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, that made me flip out. Like, bro, how stupid are you put your hand? Yeah.
I get that you're 25 and all, but that doesn't make you automatically stupid.
Yes, it does.
I'm 25 and I'm not automatically stupid. I'm gonna stupid sometimes.
The audacity of this fucking fossil, though. Like, get the fuck out of here. This is a young man's podcast now. Anyone over the age of 30, get the fuck out.
Ogge, let's go.
Wait, Ogge's over 30? I thought it was like 28.
No, he's too
32.
Poor man.
He's 1 year younger than me.
No. Ogge is 28 now.
Oh, no.
I wish.
No, you're 2 years younger than me, right?
Yeah, I'm 32.
Yeah, you're 2 years younger than me.
I
suddenly feel very young.
32 about a month ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, zombie, you're a baby.
Unrelated, I feel like the black hole just is part of the symptom of what happens to the ship. That it may be a bit... It's not the cause, but it is what is allowing it to happen. To some degree.
I mean, it's probably like Gray is saying, like, the black hole is, it's bad energy coming from the black hole, and that's what's causing everything to happen, because whatever it is doing is pulling all their, like, biggest fear and insecurities and causing them to see visions and shit. It's like, yeah.
And, like, that is, to some degree, also very believable, because we have things here on Earth that can make you just hallucinate randomly. And so to have a black hole radiate or some kind of like force is not totally unbelievable as well.
Yeah.
Coming to think about it, the whole greatest fear thing, I haven't found any background information about it, but there's a movie called Galaxy of Terror from 1980, I think, which is about a space crew that comes in contact with some alien life form that makes their worst nightmares come true or something like that. I've never seen the film, but there's some similarities in the plot structure between that movie and this one. Perhaps, I think.
Yeah.
Likely.
I don't know if they took some inspiration from that film for this one. I don't
maybe.
Know. But that might be a movie we could cover at some point.
Oh yeah,
it's a pre-Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund
nice.
As well.
All right.
So I would like to say that I would like to preface well, not really preface, but like conclude that I don't think it's the black hole necessarily that's doing everything. The black hole itself is just a tool. The ship itself is just a conduit. It's what takes the thing at present and moves it elsewhere, as Patrick Starr would put it. So I would say that wherever they went, or whatever was done before the event horizon had returned, is a source of where they went, or perhaps the in-between of where their destination was. Something otherworldly, or perhaps not of this galaxy even, or this plane of existence, as the movie refers to itself as such. So it might not have been the black hole itself, but the act of moving something through the black hole and then pulling it back out, creating a sort of gateway.
Yeah. It was entirely on the fact of where they went, rather than the fact that they went there.
I mean, like the doctor is explaining, or what a scientist or whatever he is, they, when they use a black hole, they fold reality. So what the ship is going through might be something that no human should ever...
no entity.
No entity should ever pass through or see or experience whatever the ship has gone through, and it probably latched on to the event horizon and followed through when it passed through the folded reality.
Yeah, so it may not. It may not have looked like it, but the event horizon definitely changed entirely due to that jump.
Yeah. So a side note, though, something I just came to think about. What do you guys what would you guys think about actually, like, if it was possible to use black holes to travel like that, like fold reality and travel to different areas of space that we have never to this point been able to travel to. Like, I know we can travel to the moon. I don't know if we can travel further than that right now. But, like, thoughts, like...
I think we can travel to Mars.
Robot-wise, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's... Go ahead.
No, go on.
There's yet, to my knowledge, there's yet to be a person that has been able to set foot on Mars and make a successful trip back. Although if there is proof of this, please put it in post so that you can horribly prove me massively wrong. I would love to see myself proven wrong in this. But as of right now, it seems that extended trips in space are often taken with many risks. Risks that people aren't really certain of taking at this certain point in time, which is why we keep sending drones, like the Curiosity.
Yeah, I think that would be the first thing we would send out into such a place. And if possible, we would send something maybe like Hubble-wise to like map out what is out there even further, first and foremost.
Oh yeah.
So trying to explain the question, like, so, like, in my opinion, if we would be able to fold reality and travel through a black hole, the idea is cool, but like the Event Horizon, it is slightly terrifying if we would be able to do it in this day and age, and or in 10, 20, 50 years.
Still uncompletely prepared.
Yeah, it would still be pretty cool to be able to travel just a click away and be several 100,000 miles away from Earth. But I don't know, like, the question... It's hard to... It's hard to word the question.
I think that due to the nature of this movie, we would be more prepared for the outcome. Not necessarily that we will be prepared for whatever is out there, but we will be more cautious in doing so.
No, I don't think so.
I hope so.
Humankind is stupid, and we think
okay.
and we think we are on top of the game, which we aren't.
The problem.
So I honestly don't think so.
I would like to
We're
point
probably
out...
gonna invade wherever we go, which may or may not be a good idea.
So
I'm sorry, Ogge, what did you say?
I'm pretty sure that whatever we find, we're gonna try to invade it, which may or may not be a great idea.
That's humankind in a nutshell. Oh, there's people on that planet, or it's intelligence on that planet. Let's invade it.
Let's nuke the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna conquer it.
Yeah. Human race are that stupid. We would definitely do that. Like, I'm sure that there is some alien race out there that know of us. They don't want shit to do with us because we're that stupid.
Yeah.
Or we're just that aggressive.
Yeah.
So, one thing that I would like to also note is that this is the second movie that Sam Neill has also starred in. That was all like, okay, so this is pretty neat. Should you do it? Nah.
Yeah.
Like, the first time he played in a role like that was Jurassic Park. And now he plays in this movie? Guy's got a lot to say.
Wait, who does he play in Jurassic Park?
Dr. Alan Grant.
Yes.
Alan Grant.
Like,
wait, the guy that get caught sitting on the shitter?
No, that is, I think, a lawyer.
Yeah,
that was a lawyer.
Oh, yeah.
Lawyer. Dr. Alan
Grant is in the third one as well.
Yeah, he takes care of Tim and Alex in Jurassic Park.
Oh, the hot guy. All right.
I feel like in Jurassic Park, it is very much, should you do it? I question it, like, but in this one, he is very much on the other end of that. where he did do it.
Yeah.
I
mean, so Jurassic Park, like, I would say, my opinion of that is, if we could isolate it to a continent and be sure that no fucker would go there, then yes.
That's the problem with humankind.
Exactly. Oh, there's a one of those long-necked dinosaurs over there. Let's go take it.
And the problem would also most likely be the course of evolution, where they will most likely, to some degree, evolve again.
Monkey.
But it would be interesting to see, like, in the environment we have now compared to then, how they would evolve.
It would be
anything.
Cool. Yeah, so going back to the movie. So, instead of like splitting up again and start talking about black holes and shit and science, favorite characters.
Cooper, definitely Cooper.
Same.
Cooper.
Wait, who was Cooper?
Cooper.
The guy who got
blown
launched off
into
of the ship.
And then came
Oh,
back.
the Queen. Yes, God, yes, yes.
Like there were a lot of good actors and there were a lot of good characters, but Cooper stole the show every single time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the sass.
It felt like, don't send him into space. No, and then he came back and it was like, what?
Yeah, the first time we watched it, I was like, no, my baby.
Cooper was the funny guy in the film, and the funny guy is usually one of the characters that goes at some point in the film. And spoiler alert, he survives the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which really
Wait,
flips
does
the
he?
table.
Yeah. He's the one
Right.
with the blonde chick, yeah.
Yeah. I thought he got blown away a second time as well. Right after he came back. Didn't he?
Yeah, he did, but
I mean, like this.
He got so much.
The movie's 24 years old. If someone hasn't watched it to this point, then blame yourself if you're listening to this and getting spoiled.
We haven't spoiled the movie that much.
No, not really.
We
just
usually
talk-
goes a lot deeper with the spoilers.
His just dedication to not die throughout the whole movie is just my bread and butter.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think the most we've spoiled the movie so far is probably just talking about the black hole. That I think that's the biggest one, biggest spoiler of the movie.
Yeah.
but even then, that spoiler was revealed at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. That is like barely 10 minutes into the movie, I think.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so yeah. Does anyone has any like favorite scenes
Oh.
besides every scene with Cooper though?
That narrows it down a lot more. So,
I like the scenes when they just arrive to Event Horizon and they board it. And they walk around and you can see in the background the fleshy walls and everything.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty unsettling.
it establishes itself really well right there. Which is why my favorite scene is the reveal of the Event Horizon itself. And then every little scene that reveals every little aspect of the Event Horizon.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's looking at the main antagonist, but nobody, not even the audience, knows that it is yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how, like, when they discover the Event Horizon right in front of their noses, I really like that. Because it really gives you a scale of how big the Event Horizon really is. Because you can't really gather that from just seeing it alone. But then when the characters in their ship, which, like, is pretty... It fits all of them. And then they're just face to face with just the logo of the Event Horizon. It just puts how grand it really is.
Yeah, it's like, they came out there like, oh, we're getting closer and closer and closer. Like, 500, 400, no, 8, 7, 9,
Yeah.
and like they don't see anything, and then, bam, there it is,
Yeah.
and it's so beautiful just looking at it, like, damn.
Yeah, it can be a ship, like, depending on the context, can be a very beautiful ship full of hope for the future and what it can do. But later in the movie, or if you watch it again, it's just filled with instant dread. Like,
Yeah, I mean, when
This
you've
is
watched
scary.
it one time and like you see it as like, oh yeah, that's the main protagonist, like that
Yeah.
fucker. Mhm.
like the first time it's grand, it's magnificent, it's mwah, like everything you
chef's
want in a
kiss.
research ship. And then second time around is just this.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Its size is ominous
Mm.
rather than magnificent.
Yeah. I must agree, like, both Ogge and Joseph here, that the first time you see Horizon is definitely, yes. And also when they start walking around on the ship for the first time and nothing is really happening, they're just exploring. I think I laughed a little bit too much at Morpheus when the hand just like like he just floats past him and he almost shits himself like surprise.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny, very funny.
And he just like, nah, it was nothing, I just got scared a bit. Like, dude, that was a hand.
It's like I'm a man.
Manly man.
Yeah, exactly. Something I came to think about. I made a note about it. One of the guys. I think they call him Baby Bear.
Yeah,
When he walks
Justin.
into
Just-
yeah, like Justin. When he walks into that tunnel that looks like a meat grinder, I'm like, why the fuck is this on a ship?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
They explain it right after.
They do?
Yeah, he explained that it diffuses the gravitational field from the black hole.
Oh.
I thought,
Oh.
I legit thought when he commented that it was a meat grinder that it was gonna be used as such, because it was followed by the scene of the bombs or explosives, because that was very obvious, like, they are gonna use those. Like,
Yeah.
it's very understandable why they're there, like,
Yeah, well,
In general.
it was Chekhov's gun or whatever it's called. When they show something that you know that they're gonna use it later on in the film.
yeah. But at the same time, it's, even if they didn't, it would be like, yeah, it's understandable why it's there. And
Yeah.
I was a bit disappointed that it wasn't used as a meat grinder, because it felt like they have already done the bombs. We know we're gonna use them, and then he just had this like ominous, looks like meat grinder. Like, are you gonna use it as such?
Mm-hmm.
But nah, it was just a lot of playing in water instead,
Yeah.
or whatever that was. I don't remember.
Yeah. It's something I came to think about when we're talking about sci-fi horror movies. The tanks that they sleep in, like,
The cryo
basically,
chambers.
yeah, like they basically get frozen for X amount of time. Like, being the first one, like, both first time you wake up out of one and the first time you wake up being the first person waking up off your team must be terrifying, even if you know, like, oh, I'm in a safe place, this is nothing wrong, this is a safe tank, nothing is gonna happen to me. It still must be kind of terrifying experiencing all of that.
Yeah, definitely. And I like that they go a tad bit in depth with it as well, and just not be like, ah, this is just cryo tanks, but also like, here, have this painful shot so you don't get liquefied.
Yeah.
Like, just put...
His insides would be liquefied.
Yeah, or bones. Yeah, but they just very minimally and subtly just expanded upon that they just didn't be like, oh yes, cry things, whatever, but actually be like, yeah, it's actually science to this, in which we have to take precautions.
Alright, so do y'all feel justified talking about the movie, or do y'all want to talk more about it?
No, it's all good. I got everything that I needed to say out there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Alright, and Joseph is falling asleep over there?
No, I'm trying to figure. I can't come up with anything else. So.
It felt...
Old man.
It felt a bit like...
To be fair, I watched the movie like 3 weeks ago, so I have a hard time remembering it right now.
Like I said, old man.
I feel like...
Yeah, go on.
This movie was like sci-fi, and I think it is Hellraiser that I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
a bit of combination of both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you think about the way Weimer or whatever his name is looks like afterwards, like he has these like marks in his face.
Yeah, and
kind of looking like Pinhead.
And whatever place they went to was this like gore fest in a way. Different types of gore fests, totally, but gore fests of different dimensions than ours, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Speaking of Hellraiser, and this is actual background, Clive Barker was actually a huge influence on the film, and Hellraiser was a huge influence on Event Horizon. And Clive Barker actually consulted on the project before, during pre-production. So
that's pretty cool.
There's a connection to Hellraiser, so that's why the film is like it is. I kind of guess.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, so want to go into backstory?
Yeah.
Or background?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Do you have a lot? So you want to split it up on us, or?
No, I can do it. Yes. Okay, the budget was $60 million.
Oh.
But the worldwide gross at the box office was about 42 million, so it was a bomb, unfortunately. Paul W.S. Anderson's initial cut of the film ran 130 minutes.
Ooh.
That's why I was talking about it feeling rushed.
Yeah.
And it was quite graphically violent, so much so that both test audience and the studio balked at the finished product. Paramount ordered him to cut the film by 30 minutes and tone down some of the violence, which is a decision he now regrets, as he didn't have enough time for a proper re-edit. Therefore believes he cut out about 10 minutes too much. Although it was announced in 2012 that producer Lloyd Levin had found a VHS tape that might contain a full version of the film, Anderson revealed in 2017 that neither he nor Levin had seen it yet, as they have both been too busy to be in the same country with a VHS player. With all that being said, Anderson and one of the other producers, Jeremy Bolt, worked for some time on a director's cut. They traveled the world to locate the original footage, some of which was found in the strangest places, for example in an abandoned Transylvania salt mine.
What?
How true that is, I don't know.
Sounds like a lot of bullshit to me.
Yeah, but I don't know. So yeah.
Yeah.
However, they quickly realized that since the movie was made before the DVD era, when alternate versions became much more commonplace, much of the original footage had been either destroyed, stored, and then discarded, or its location had not been documented. Of the stock that was retrieved, much of it had been badly archived or was otherwise degraded. Some of the lost footage includes a great deal more of the Bosch influenced hell sequences and of the orgiastic video log that was found in the Event Horizon. These were shot by both director Paul W.S. Anderson and Vadim John. I think he was a producer or something. The film, mainly on weekends. The video log took a month of preparation and about a week to film, according to producer Jeremy Bolt. Real-life amputees and porn stars were dressed in extensive makeup to make the sequence as grotesque as possible, figuring that, and I quote,
Wow.
if you're going to go to hell, you really got to do it. You can't tap dance.
Wow.
Well, they just went all in with that, didn't they?
Yeah.
They really did.
Although the film met with mostly negative reviews and a disappointing box office result at the time of its release, it amassed a considerable cult following over the years. Anderson said that the movie's cult status was predicted to him years before by Kurt Russell, MacReady in The Thing. Anderson screened Event Horizon before they started to work on Soldier from 1998, and Russell said, and I quote, "Forget about what this movie's doing now. In 50 years' time, this is going to be the movie you're glad you made." Having just done a PG-13 movie, which was the film adaptation of Mortal Kombat in 1995, Anderson was very keen to do something more mature and gruesome. He was offered Event Horizon on the strength of the box office success of Mortal Kombat, but he he had to turn down the opportunity to direct X-Men from 2000, the first X-Files movie from 1998, Alien Resurrection from 1997, and the Mortal Kombat sequel, Mortal Kombat Annihilation from 1997. And I think he was glad he didn't direct that film.
I'm betting they did. I'm betting they was, but I also think that would have been better under his watch, given that he made the phenomenal Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah. But that was a really troubled production as well, so...
Oh, yeah.
The working title for Event Horizon was This Star's My Destination. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tommy Lee Jones, and Bruce Willis were considered for the role of Captain Miller, which was Lawrence Fishburne's character. What do you guys think about, Arnold Schwarzenegger or Bruce Willis or Tommy Lee Jones in that role?
I would think that for Arnold Schwarzenegger and Bruce Willis, I would say that this seems a little bit too different from what they were used to be acting,
Yeah.
Like, in those days, they were acting in action comedies and action flicks in general. And while I appreciate the amount of effort that those two have put into their movies, I don't think that this was the role for them, because usually whenever you see Bruce Willis or Arnold Schwarzenegger, you fully expect one-liners out of nowhere and just like them unloading guns into unsuspecting baddies. I think a lot of the audience would have been disappointed that either Bruce Willis or Arnold Schwarzenegger wouldn't have gone to that. the closest thing that I would have figured would be Tommy Lee Jones. But Tommy Lee Jones doesn't seem like the methodical, do-everything captain. If anything, I see him as like the strong mentor, or the stationary commander who assists all because of his roles in Men in Black, which he did really well in that sense. Which is why I think Lawrence Fishburne was a better pick for this movie in particular.
He is a great side character, but if Lawrence Fishburne is gonna play a main character, being a character that is a leader fits him very well because of how he can present himself, I think. And he is, in most cases, in the characters he plays a very serious person. And that is the feeling that I got of the character Miller. So I think it was actually a very good pick to have him for the same reasons that Gray has presented. Because I just can't imagine, like, Arnold being...
Get to the space shuttle! Ah!
Yeah, like, I can't imagine him being a character that is a victim of circumstance and being thrown around by a, like,
an otherworldly
almost
presence.
dying Weir.
No, but I can understand it because at that point Weir had supernatural influence.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of other times that Arnold Schwarzenegger was a character that was put into, in which he was a victim of circumstance. Two of those being Total Recall and Predator. So he wouldn't have been new to the role.
Yeah, he got his ass beaten in Predator, so... What?
So he's by no means invincible, but he just seems like he's too tough of a guy to, like, you know...
Lose.
Well, not too tough, I would say. I would say too headstrong and not enough level-headed.
Yeah.
Like, whenever I see Arnold Schwarzenegger, I see him as, like, the guy that'll, like, fine, I'll do it myself, and just be all action hero of the day, rather than be, like, a realistic commander of sorts, allocating resources as necessary. Like, if he could pull it off, kudos to him, but he just doesn't, his acting style just doesn't come off that way.
He feels more like a hero character, which is not what Miller feels like. Like, he is to some degree like, I want to save everyone, and I don't want to lose people, but it's not to the same degree that I have such a strong emotion and will to do it that I become like, I will do it. And he does his best, and it's not enough, and you won't overcome that by sheer force of will.
Like, because of the doubts that were in his mind, he was taking a back seat to that sort of thing.
Yeah. Like, he was strong, but yeah.
I mean, like, to me, any of the mentioned, like, action hero actors, to me it would end with the Horizon being like, everyone would be saved. But with Morpheus being the captain, it felt right that he essentially offered himself to save the little bit of the team he could save.
Yeah.
Without basically just giving himself to, like Spock said, the need of the many outweighs the need of the few.
Yeah.
And if Morpheus would have saved himself too, most likely the Event Horizon would still be standing there, and still be infected with whatever it is that has latched itself onto the ship.
Yeah. Or it would most likely, or not most likely, or it would have gotten to the point where they successfully actually blew it up.
Yeah.
One of the two.
So yeah, to me the ending with Morpheus giving himself up and the rest of the team surviving, that feels more right to me than, for example, Arnie being on the ship and saving everyone and saving the day, because that's not. It's just no. It's just not a horror sci-fi movie if that happens.
Not only that, but it also, with each character comes their own, like, style. And for the acting style, it would be very, unpersonable of Arnold Schwarzenegger or Bruce Willis. Like, I understand if they could pull it off that they would, but it seems like those characters, those actors, it would not have been a good fit for the story that it had to tell.
Yeah. And like, I don't know how they look like back at the time, but I don't know how ripped Arnie was at the time.
Arnie
was
was
pretty
he's still pretty ripped, and he's over 70.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like you have all of these like other characters that's like, yeah, you would expect them to look like that, and then you have this ripped like captain of a man.
Like, you would think that if Arnold Schwarzenegger was in that movie, he'd be the only space marine on that ship.
Yeah. And like, I think it also comes down to the fact that all actors, or most well-known actors, have at least one or a few characters that they play that they are associated with, or a certain type of character that they are associated with, that will follow them, like, even if they did those characters after a certain movie. That it's sometimes, depending on what character it is hard to like suspend your disbelief for the character that you're playing in the movie that you're watching if it's very much different from the one you're used to.
I mean, let's say that Daniel Radcliffe would play Morpheus' role. Everyone would just be sitting there like, huh, Harry Potter in space.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't be able to take the role, like the movie, as serious.
Yeah.
And like, if this movie would have been made after Matrix, I think a lot of people would also view it differently, with Morpheus as the main, main character, essentially.
The leading man.
But
Yeah.
at the very same time, it's still like not a stretch with what kind of character it is at the same time.
Yeah.
Because Morpheus, what I know of him, is not a very collected character, if I'm not wrong. And Miller, at the very least in the beginning, is somewhat of that. In that he tries to lead everyone with not letting his emotions run wild.
Yeah.
Basically trying to kill Ware.
I mean, like, he is consistently, like, cold, like, keeping his head cold, like a Marine. Like, we're gonna try and, as many as possible are supposed to survive. We're gonna do our best, and when they find out, like, oh shit, the ship is dangerous, we need to get off this place, we need to get out of here. He's doing his best to get everyone off safely. He's keeping a cold head, trying to do his best, and sometimes doing your best is not gonna help.
Yeah, and I think his past both drive him and holds him back in that objective.
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone would be kind of haunted if if they see someone under their command die, pretty much. Like, I don't think you can really recover from that, no matter how hard you try.
That is very true. But also part of why it is such a good plot point that he has.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
and part of his character. Like,
Mm.
in the beginning, it's like, he's the captain, he wants to save everyone, obviously, and then later on it's like, he does this because he has failed in doing
Yeah.
just that. And that's why he is, like, a tad bit overprotective.
Yeah, you're right. Anyways, gonna continue with the backstory.
Yeah, we went off no tangent
Yeah.
there.
Okay, I got two more things here. Like I said earlier, it has become Event Horizon has become a cult hit since its initial release, and it has been an influence on other media, such as the game Dead Space from 2008, which, if you play the game and you start to think about it, you can tell that they've taken a lot of inspiration from this film.
Yeah.
And the last thing I got is that in August of 2019, it was reported that Paramount Television and Amazon Studios were developing a television series based on Event Horizon.
Oh, alright.
Horror filmmaker Adam Wingard is set to executive produce and possibly direct the series. Lawrence Gordon and Lloyd Levin, who produced the original film, are also involved. And that is everything I got.
Do you know when that is gonna be
Man, I
released?
would have loved to see the full cut.
I bet you it probably would have been really great or really bad.
Yeah, it would probably.
Yeah, like I said, I feel that the film is a bit rushed because of the cuts. That was why I was talking about it being a bang 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 in the events of the film.
Yeah, I mean, like, thinking about it, definitely it is missing, like he said himself, it's missing about 10 minutes. It's still a good movie, but it might have been even better with those 10 minutes. But back then, everyone was so fucking sensitive to blood and gore and stuff.
Nowadays, this is the kind of thing that we look for.
Yeah.
I would love to see the rough cut of the film, the 130 minutes.
Yeah,
cut
and
of the film.
and if he toned down the intensity of the gore in what we have seen now, like, holy, what would we have seen if he hadn't been forced to do that?
Man's got a vision, I tell you.
But Josef, you were talking about a TV series based on Event Horizon?
Yeah.
Does it say anywhere when it's gonna be released? Or if it's gonna be released?
I was looking into it, but I couldn't really find anything. But I would say that it will probably take another year or two before it gets released, since the fucking pandemic and everything.
Oh yeah.
Everything has been done.
Postponed.
And halted because of that.
Alright, so do you guys think this movie would have been done better if it was released maybe a year or two after Alien? Or would it most likely have boomed by like at that time period too? Because I mean, when Alien was released, it was a different time period, and people were more, I don't know. I actually don't remember if Alien boomed or not.
I think that some parts of the Event Horizon is similar to Alien. Most likely because it's sci-fi, but like also because in the beginning of not knowing who the real villain of the movie is, it feels like a creature feature, which is Alien, and also the fact that very early on in the movie you have a character go MIA due to said enemy. And they come momentarily back and then they are gone again. Like, they don't have a lot of overlapping, but I think that movies that are similar enough to a certain degree, one of them will suffer, and I think that Alien was well received in its time, and so because of that, I think the Event Horizon would suffer due to its nature being more gory than
I'm not entirely sure if Alien was well received when it first came out. I think it was a sleeper hit. It might have been. I can't remember. I think it got pretty bad reviews when it first came out, since it's essentially a 50s sci-fi horror movie, but modern at the time.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, Angel, I think Event Horizon, if Event Horizon was made in the 80s by, I don't know, Ridley Scott or James Cameron or someone who's very prolific in the sci-fi genre, I think it might have been a lot more different, and it might have made a bigger splash at the box office as well.
Do you mean the movie would have been different, or the release and the boom at the box office wouldn't have happened?
I think the movie would have probably been a bit different, since Hellraiser came out in '87. So if the movie, let's say it was made in '84 or something, '85, it would have probably been a lot more different than it is.
Might not even be recognizable as it is today.
Yeah.
Alright. Makes sense.
But on the other hand, the '80s were the decade of the sci-fi horror film. So
it likely would have drowned in a sea of likewises.
Yeah.
Alright.
If anything, I think that it came out at just the right time, because it probably could have gone worse.
Alright. So that was all the backstory and stuff. So I had a thing that I wanted to talk about since we were at the theaters last week. And that is going to the theaters. Now, I don't know how often all of you go to the theaters. I know that for me, I've slacked off a little bit with going. I know there was a while we were going like 2-3 times every 6 months, maybe, or in a year. And when I go to the theater, I expect people to not speak out loud. I expect people not to sit with their phones. I expect people to keep their fucking hands to themselves.
Their feet to themselves.
So, why I'm bringing this up is like, the row we were sitting on, there were sitting 3 kids. Legitimate kids. They were under the age of 18. I think they were 14, 15 something, next to us. And when I want to make a comment about a movie, I lean in as much as possible to the person I try to talk to. And I try to talk as low as possible. I have normally a very loud voice. I don't think about it, but mine and Joseph's mother is, her hearing isn't the best, so I've always spoken a little bit louder than everyone else. So I try to be as quiet as possible, to respect everyone around me. These kids were legit like, oh, what the fuck? Oh, shit! Oh, he's gonna die! Like, excuse me, but shut the fuck up. Everyone here is here to watch a horror movie. And when the movie goes quiet, you don't sit and talk. It's a different thing when there's like loud explosions or loud sounds overall. Okay, you can talk a little bit louder because most of the movie is gonna tone you out for the rest of us.
Yeah, and it's most likely just harder to hear each other whisper in such cases.
Yeah, and one of these kids, the guy sitting absolutely next to me, he was starting to point at the fucking screen halfway through the movie. I'm like, what the fuck? So I gave him like the death glare, like, can you fucking not? And he stopped for a little bit. And then the kid, yeah?
One of them took off their shoes, didn't they?
Yeah, the kid in the middle of them took off his shoes and sat with his feet on the seat in front of him.
Like, even if there were very few people, like, in the cinema at the time and there were no people in front of him in the seats, it still feels very disrespectful to do it because...
I could smell his sweaty feet.
Exactly. And the fact that maybe other people will be sitting in those seats later on in the night.
It was disgusting.
Yeah.
You don't take off your shoes in a fucking cinema. That's disgusting. And like, you don't talk during a movie. If you want to say something to your friend, you can go low and whisper, but don't talk. And I'm just very frustrated with this. Like, I know when we went to see, I believe it was Jurassic World, we saw around...
the second one?
I think... no, the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, you weren't there. It was me, Joseph, Simon,
And Linus.
yeah, Linus. I think Oscar was there, and that other guy.
A lot of people.
We were a big group going to see that. I think me and Simon counted 9 or 10 people on their phone in front of us because we were in the big theater. And it's just like, to me, why do you pay about $12 to, that's about 120 crowns in Swedish currency, to go see a movie at the theater and then not pay attention to the movie? Skadi, snälla lilla du. Tack, tack.
Someone's having fun.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, she got a hedgehog about a month ago that squeaks. Excuse this.
Oh, we heard.
Yeah.
It squeaks.
I thought this one was gonna be dead within a week. It's still alive.
She's taking good care of it.
And she loves carrying it around and just squeaking it, and it pisses my mother off so much.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Oh, she's ripped up the skin of it. I can see the ball underneath. Oh, damn.
Oh no.
It's getting close.
Anyways, so, yeah, like, it annoys me. Like, why do you go to the theater? But you pay good money to watch a movie, but then you sit on your phone. Or you're disrespecting everyone around you with taking off your shoes, or speaking loudly, or pointing at the movie.
They were never taught etiquette. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I kinda gotta go.
Oh.
This took a bit longer than I thought.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Oops.
Started to get in a rush.
Don't worry about it.
Sorry.
This is just like aftershock. If you need to go, dude. It's alright.
It's good that someone rails us in.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I have to run.
Yeah, good. It's all good.
Bye.
Dude. Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, bye.
Later,
Yeah.
Ogge.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. So yeah, like, does anyone else have thoughts on this, or am I just like a petty bitch?
No.
All I can say on the matter is that I'm happy that you were in between me and those people, because you acted as a buffer, because I did notice a lot of that, and I'm very thankful for you taking that suffering for me.
I mean,
well, I see what you're coming from, and yeah, I agree. People are fucking assholes at the cinema. But if the audience is with the movie, you know, if they scream when it's scary, or they laugh when it's funny, or whatever, they are into the film. I think that enhances the movie-going experience. But, but if some asshole is on his phone and, you know, checking Facebook or whatever, or
yeah, and like the light shines up to everyone else, like like the
or if they just starts to talk what they're gonna do after the film, in the middle of the film, things like that can go, you know.
Yeah.
It's disrespectful.
If their loudness and like talking is purely out reactionary, as you said, it's understandable. Like you're reacting to what happened to the movie, and as long as you don't like go on a tangent on like then monologuing with people or dialoguing.
So like, okay, so the what the fuck I can accept then, if you from your all's like input here, like, okay, the what the fuck I can let pass, but when a quiet moment in the movie comes and someone says something like, oh, Henry over there, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
That's like, dude,
yeah.
Can you shut the fuck up? We're here to sit and watch a horror movie. Of course people are gonna die. Now, Henry there might not die, but Gertrude over there, she might die.
Gertrude.
yeah.
But yeah.
It's just like, don't make comments when like kind of like off cue comments. Like if a big jump scare happens, yeah, okay, scream because you get scared. I mean, I almost hit Linus in the balls once because I got scared at the movies. But making comments when something is quiet or just to be a negative Nancy, I don't think that's okay. Like, I don't think that's all right.
Yeah. I feel like that is the kind of thing you do at home.
Yeah.
Watching movies.
Very much so. Because people these days, they don't understand, especially because of COVID, it seems like everyone forgot their manners. Because really and truly, all it just takes is like, be considerate of the people around you, but people keep thinking that they're at their own home theater is like, not the case, dude. Like,
yeah.
Only thing I have to say about this is be courteous, be kind, and don't try to take up the movie slot in everyone's attention.
Yeah.
So
and
like, yeah.
And don't get too like comfy in where you are. Like,
don't take up your shoes. Nobody wants to Nobody wants to smell footsteps.
Like, if you want to be comfortable, like, you're not in your own home. I don't care if you sit with your feet on your dining table while people are eating at it in your own home. But don't do shit like that at the theaters. Like, if you want to sit with your feet up on the TV bench while watching movies at home, do it. But you're at the theater. Other people around you are gonna have to smell your feet.
Yeah, like be more aware of your surroundings, simply.
I'm always like, I always take a shower either the day before or like a few hours before going to the theater, so that I smell nice when I go there. So people don't have to smell my sweaty ass after I've been out walking my dog for 3 hours.
That's fair.
That's just being polite to everyone around you. If
Yeah,
I was
right.
gonna sit at home watching the movie, I wouldn't give a fuck if I smelled like 3 days of pure sweat
And feet.
But,
and
so,
feet.
so yeah. In short, just remain courteous, be considerate of people around you, and just don't be a fuck up whenever it comes to that kind of behavior.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people have enough of that at their own home.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was just like, since we were at the theater, I just wanted to bring it up, like, and talk about it with other people that might agree with me. And as I see it, I don't think kids under the age of 18 should be allowed to go to the theater alone. Because I think if they had a parent with them, they wouldn't have done that. At least they would have kept their shoes on.
Fewer would have, at the very least.
Yeah. And like, I was so close to flipping my shit and be like, kid, put your fucking shoes on, you're not home. And tell them to shut the fuck up because they were annoying me. And funny that you said that about me being the buffer. When I looked at the seatings, to me it looked like people were gonna sit on the right side of me, as in on the other side of you. And I wanted you to be my buffer because I was like, I'm not comfortable sitting next to people.
Oh no.
And then these fuckers comes and sits next to me. I'm like,
oh no.
yeah.
Next time we'll simply have to wait.
Did you guys have free seats on Zombies? Other
Yeah,
side?
closest to the
You
wall.
you should have just moved along. Then.
Yeah, but we were sitting in the
I would've done.
middle. It was like the best place to sit to watch the movie.
I was sitting fucking alone in my room.
Yeah, we saw
we
that.
saw.
Like you could have laid down on free seats and no one would have complained.
Yeah, it was.
You fucker.
It was nice.
Yeah, not to have Linus' thighs push against yours, like.
Romantic.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
Alright. Is
But
is that all?
I think it's time to wrap up, maybe.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
episode's definitely gonna be almost over 2 hours, so it's time to wrap up.
2 hours, 11 minutes.
So, the next episode is gonna be, let's see, Halloween 5. The
Oh,
Halloween
The revenge
special.
show.
Right in time for the
Revenge of
spooky
Michael
season.
Myers.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy, looking forward to that one.
So, what are we playing out with?
I mentioned the outro track of the film, which was The Prodigy Funky Shit, so we're playing out with that.
Alright, nice. Alright, guys, let's
Yeah.
say goodbye to the good people.
Alright,
Goodbye.
take care, everybody.
Goodbye, good people. Thanks
thanks
for
for having-
listening.
And thank you all for having me on the show once again.
And thank you, Great, for
You're
joining us.
welcome, man. You're welcome.
It's very
You're
nice to
welcome
have
back
new
as
input.
well.
Of course. In any case, take care.
Thanks, good people, for listening. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you like what you heard, and we hope to see you in the next episode. Goodbye.